The story kicks off when the Demon Lord summons his daughter, CL, and orders her to eliminate the hero Todo. Fresh from the briefing, CL sets off from the demon realm, thrilled at the chance to finally experience the outside world and a taste of freedom. With only a single target standing in her way, she eagerly anticipates the mission, convinced it will be effortless. Elsewhere, Anemone, a notorious assassin, gets paid for a recent job well done and is immediately assigned Todo as her next target. But when she finds out she'll have to disguise herself as a priestess to pull it off, she refuses on the spot, until her client offers 100 million coins. Then she changes her mind in an instant, promising that Todo will rest in peace. At the same time, while Gao, a BDSM junkie, takes pleasure in clapping her human pets and sending them spiraling over the edge again and again, some dude barges into her clubhouse, asking why she's into that kind of business for herself. But before he can attack her, Gao promptly has him pinned down, thoroughly handled, and coaxed into producing involuntary cultural noises. And just like that, he's officially enrolled as one of her pets. Gao finds it pretty amusing that she can tame a big dude like that, but when she demands a more suitable pet candidate, her girls come up with the perfect option. Meanwhile, in a small town called Fromner, Todo enters the Adventurers Guild and tries to form a party with two dudes, and everyone's excited to see him since he's supposed to be a big deal. But that's all a lie, since in reality, Todo can barely hold a conversation because he's super shy, and when he finally works up the courage to ask them, they run off in fear. This really bothers Todo since he'd imagined everything going smoothly, but before he can feel sorry for himself, Gao, CL, and Anemone show up and ask him to form a party with them. Todo is shocked, but not as much as the guys in the guild, who are in denial of Todo's woman magnet attribute. As Todo tries to summon the courage to respond, Gao grabs onto him, and the moment he sees her mutated plots, his brain short-circuits and explodes, and he passes out. While he's out cold, CL takes the chance to snatch him from the guild using her powers. But even with her speed, Anemone and Gao easily catch up. When she gets a clear shot, Anemone uses her machine gun to fire multiple shots at CL, but CL blocks and repels all shots fired. At some point, stops attacking and proposes a truce, which both CL and Anemone accept, only for the girls to realize a bit too late that Gao's paralyzing perfume has kicked in. However, before Gao can enjoy having Todo all to herself, she realizes she's cooked because CL loses control of her summoning spell and a large monster shows up to unalive everyone. Terrified, Gao tries to chicken out at the last minute, but the girls, despite being paralyzed, grab onto her so they can all die together. As the monster dives in to have them as a quick snack, Todo shows up from nowhere and takes it out in one nasty strike, leaving the scared chicks with wet pants. Despite initially wanting to kill him, the girls are happy to be saved by him, but the moment they try to reward him with a sloppy toppy, his brain explodes again, and the girls decide not to unalive him just yet, especially since CL has fallen in love. But deep down, all three girls want to have Todo to themselves for obvious reasons. When he finally regains consciousness, they buy him lunch, and while they eat, the chicks introduce themselves with fake intentions for him. As for Todo, he imagines dropping a nice intro that wins Gao's heart, but in reality, he struggles while promising to protect them no matter what. Gao makes things worse by sampling his sword, so when his brain explodes again, she makes the other chicks reveal why they are after him. CL says she wants to unalive him to gain freedom. Anemone says she was paid to unalive him, but Gao's case is different since she's a plot mistress bent on making him her pet. Realizing the competition, Anemone backs out of the chase, saying that she's not getting paid enough to become a pick-me baddie with a gun. But it's a lie because when she leaves, she grabs her sniper and picks a suitable spot to take Todo out. As she scrambles for Todo's position, she sees a girl getting sold to some worthless dude and decides to intervene. Using a smoke bomb, she distracts the men long enough to save the girl. Before sending her off, Anemone gives her some money and senses one of the guys she had targeted approaching from behind. When she turns around, she notices that the guy isn't even human, seeing that he looks like an underfed version of a Hulk action figure. Frankie demands payment in the form of acts of service, claiming she's cost him money by letting the girl go. But before he knows it, Anemone lands a nasty strike on him, which he barely manages to dodge. When she follows up with a brutal kick that sends him crashing into the wall, the monster realizes she's no joke and finds himself dodging like mad just to keep his head and guts together. When he's finally had enough of her BS, he activates his powers and launches multiple tentacles at her, only for them to get sliced into pieces. But the pieces regenerate and come at Anemone again, trying to double clap her from behind, until Todo shows up out of nowhere and one-shots the monster with a punch that completely takes him out. Shocked and curious, Anemone asks how he even found her, but when the dude just whispers that he promised to protect her, she blows him a kiss, and as expected, his brain blows up for the millionth time. While he's out cold, CL and Gao appear from a corner and start teasing Anemone for blowing a kiss, but she just brushes them off like it's nothing. At some point, CL asks why she didn't just headshot Frankie with her sniper, and Anemone says she didn't want the kid to see the guy die. She hates how rotten the world is and swears she'll change it with all the money she earns from unaliving people, which is exactly why she decides to unalive Toto while he's unconscious. But to her surprise, the moment her blade touches his skin, it shatters. And when she notices Gao and Seal saw the whole thing, she quickly claims it's just because she's tired. Gao, seeing straight through the lies, suggests they all rest at her inn, but when they get there, Toto's brain pretty much climaxes the second he hears that he'll be sharing rooms with them. After that, Anemone exits the room since she isn't interested in sharing or playing scissors all night, while Ciel reluctantly follows behind her, leaving an unconscious Toto alone with Gao. Right then, Gao gets the freakiest thought and decides to inject Toto with a special serum designed to turn him into her pet. While she waits for the drug to kick in, she goes to take a shower, only to come out 5 minutes later and see that Toto is still unconscious. In a sick quest to wake him up, she exposes her plots and whips him multiple times until he eventually gives in and succumbs to Gao's charm. Seeing this, Gao presents her feat like a 5-star buffet and commands him to dig in, but instead of indulging, Toto lunges forward and pins her down, zeroing in on his target. The sheer audacity of him resisting her allure leaves Gao stunned. Yet before she can recover, Toto presses his advantage, drawing out a stream of very unwilling cultural noises from her. However, before her floodgates can spiral out of control, Toto regains himself, and when he sees her mutated plot up close, his entire nervous system shuts down and he passes out again. While he's out, Gao confides in Anemone and Ciel, bothered that Toto somehow managed to resist her, but Anemone casually says that maybe it's because it might not fit. Ciel can't help but laugh after hearing this, but Gao takes pleasure in the fact that she's made new friends who are not scared of her. Toto wakes up the following morning and sees them asleep, and when he realizes that what happened last night was no dream, his brain explodes again. Later that morning, Goa wakes up in a great mood, pleased she managed to get some quality sleep thanks to whatever went down with Toto and the girls the night before. That good feeling evaporates when Ciel points out she's overslept, prompting Goa to casually gesture at Toto, who sprawled unconscious in a suspicious amount of blood that apparently vacated his head overnight. When Anemone leans in to inspect him and wonders aloud how he could lost that much, Goa just grins and calmly reveals the little drug she'd used on him. Seeing this makes Anemone and Ciel wonder if she wants to pull a fast one on Toto behind their backs, but each of them makes it clear that they'll be the one to unalive Toto. Right then, Toto regains consciousness, but rather than let the poor dude's brain boot, the girls greet him with their plots on display, and he passes out after his brain is cooked again. After Toto finally wakes up, he joins Goa and the girls for breakfast, but when they are done, Goa starts yapping about how she'd like to go on an adventure. While she speaks, Toto wonders if he can handle juggling 3 hot baddies at the same time, since he passed out from being with just one. However, before he can process clapping all 3 of them, Ciel turns to him and asks if something's up, and he struggles to say he is fine. But after taking another look at their beautiful plots and remembering that he promised to protect them, he tells them he'll do his best. After that, Anemone curiously asks where they are headed next, and Goa leads the way to the Adventurers Guild, hoping to get their newly formed party registered. During the registration process, Goa asks Toto to fill in his name as the party's leader, and the request takes him by surprise. But once he's done filling the form, he panics and slams his face on the counter, only because he wanted to thank the receptionist for being nice to him. After that, Anemone wipes him clean, and Ciel pretty much tells him to ease up and act like a leader since he's one now, and Toto apologizes for acting out of line. Within minutes, the registration process is complete, and Toto checks out the signed party document outside. He gets excited because for the first time, he is now officially part of a registered party, while Goa insists that they start adventuring immediately. She mentions that she hopes to reach the A rank and get fancy guild cards, but since Anemone and Ciel's brains are on Do Not Disturb, she ends up explaining how the level up system works, beginning from the lowest E rank to the final S rank. She adds that rookies start from E rank, and to defeat the Demon Lord or anything similar, one would have to work hard to increase their rank. Then she points to a board, explaining that they can get jobs there to level up, and if they complete difficult tasks, their ranks will increase. But for now, they are stuck with slime hunting and collecting herbs. However, when Goa reveals that it would take years to reach the top rank, Ciel snaps because she finds it absurd. But when she notices that Anemone is cool with it, she hugs Toto pretty tight, so she can have a private conversation with the girls after he passes out. Of course, Bro's brain cooks, and while he's out, Ciel reminds the girls that they are not there to raise their ranks but to unalive Toto instead. The moment she questions the need for adventuring, Goa and Anemone see that there's no point in wasting their time, so Anemone suggests that they alternate turns in unaliving Toto every day. Ciel is on par with her suggestion, but she agrees only on the condition that the girls will not interfere when it's her turn to unalive Toto. With that, they agree to play a game of rock, paper, scissors, and when Ciel wins, she waits for Toto to wake up so they can talk. Toto, on the other hand, struggles to start a conversation with her, and even when it makes sense in his head, the only thing he can do do is ask about Goa and Anemone. CL tells him that they are both out looking for jobs, and she stayed back to keep an eye on him while he was passed out. Toto thanks her for staying, and when the atmosphere gets weird again, CL asks why he wanted to start adventuring in the first place. While she thinks it's for fame or money, Toto finally summons the courage to tell her he's doing it, so he can have some confidence in himself. Right now, he thinks that defeating the Demon Lord might give him the courage to talk to people, and although CL can relate to what he's going through, she smiles and says in her mind that it will be Toto who will be dying today. On the other hand, Toto hates that he keeps passing out because he promised to protect the girls, but instead they are the ones looking after him. When CL hears this, she smiles and assumes her pretty girl face, showing off her legs and a few unplotted extras. But the moment she recalls that Toto protected her in the past and tries to thank him, Toto sees her plot and passes out again. While he's out, Anemone and Goa, who have been eavesdropping, tease CL for falling in love with Toto so fast, but she shuts that down and asks if they've gotten a job yet. Goa speaks of a job from a weapon shop owner, asking to fetch iron ores from a cave, and while CL goes through the details, she reminds her not to get in her way when she tries to unalive Toto. However, before leaving, Anemone throws shade at her, asking if she should help do Toto since CL's clearly getting too attached. But CL claps back without hesitation, calling her a stretched out excuse of a hole that couldn't hold on to anything hard even if it was nailed in place. As a result, the girls prepare to fight, but Goa steps in and prevents that from happening. Later that afternoon, Toto arrives at a cave to complete a job with the girls, and though he's nervous, he enters first and tells the girls to stay behind him. While inside, Goa and Anemone wonder what CL's plan for Toto to unalive him, but since CL clearly underestimates Toto, she uses slimes. Once the slimes show up, Toto takes them out by landing a single punch on them, and after he's done, he walks off to make sure the place is safe. In his absence, CL talks about his weakness, saying she's noticed that he doesn't carry weapons and might not be able to face an enemy immune to punches and kicks. So when Toto heads back from surveying the cave, CL uses her magic to integrate the remains of the defeated slime into one big angry mega slime. When Toto attacks it and notices that his punches don't work, he finds himself trapped by the slime and settles to swing it and slam it on the ground. However, rather than stay defeated, the slime regains itself and restrains Toto on a wall so it can eat him. Seeing this, CL smiles, thinking that she's won, but before she can celebrate Toto's death, the dude yells at the slime to let him go. And just like that, the slime is vaporized instantly. CL is left shocked after seeing this, and when she admits that she is done trying to unalive Toto, Goa reminds her that they have a job to finish. As time goes on, Anemone finds traces of iron in the cave, but since there are no tools to dig it up, Toto punches the walls instead, leaving her completely shocked. Around sunset, while some D-rank adventurer tries selling iron ore to a weapons dealer, he's shocked when he sees Toto's team arriving with a full sack of it and runs away in shame. The dealer thanks Toto for the help, and while Toto joins the girls out, CL curiously asks how he got so strong, only for Toto to reveal that he just lifts weights. This shocks all three chicks as they realize that if Toto is built like a demigod up top, there's a chance he has what it takes to clap their cheeks at the same time. But before they can confirm that, the D-rank adventurer from earlier shows up, asking the girls to ditch Toto and follow him. However, after running a magical X-ray on Toto's pants, he shivers at what he sees and runs away since he can't compete with that. After he leaves, reality hits Toto that he has a long way to go in leading the girls, so he begs them to support him so he can offer moral strength during the day and oral support by night. The next day, Toto tags along with the ladies to the neighboring town of Dosha. As they wander around and take in the sights, Goa casually reminds Anemone that CL completely fumbled her chance to eliminate Toto the day before. Naturally, this calls for another decisive round of rock, paper, scissors to determine who gets the honor today. After several intense rematches, Goa comes out on top and promptly announces she's taking Toto on a date. The word date sends Toto's worldly instincts into a brief frenzy, but he quickly reins himself in, reassuring himself that he's absolutely the real deal. However, his brain explodes when Goa presses her plot against his arm on the way to the restaurant. In the meantime, CL and Anemone keep watch on them from a distance, with Anemone realizing that Goa wants to lower Toto's guard and attack when he least expects, but CL doesn't think Goa would be able to finish him off. During the date with Toto, Goa spikes his drink, hoping he'll fall under her influence soon enough, but she's shocked when bro gulps everything like it's nothing. So she ups the ante and treats him to meals laced with strong seductive chemicals. And even when she feeds him a snack containing her strongest anesthetic, he stays wide awake, and she gets frustrated. After their time at the restaurant, Goa wonders what she'll do next, since none of her seductive attempts seem to work on him. Deep down, she wants him to fall in love with her, so she gets desperate and asks him if he has feelings feelings for her. The question takes Todo off guard, but to prevent his brain from bailing on him again, he bites himself to stay conscious. But Goa gets more desperate and resorts to using her seductive charm on him, trying to force him into being her love pet. Sadly, her skill has no effect on him, and she wets her plots with tears, thinking Todo would hate her for what she did. To her surprise, Todo doesn't hate her. He only tells her he won't be able to protect her if he's her pet. After hearing this, Goa lightens up, but the moment she appreciates Todo for saying nice things to her, his brain explodes. While he's out, she notices he bit himself hard so he wouldn't pass out, so before he wakes, she makes sure his wound is all covered up. Around sunset, Goa returns with Todo, and though Anemone mocks her for not being able to finish the job, Goa says she had a good time with him. Even Seal notices that Goa has gotten too close to Todo, and wonders if she swallowed his sausage or something. The following day, Anemone claims it's her turn to unalive Todo, and even declines playing rock paper scissors because Seal and Goa have already had their fun. Goa then suggests that they follow this particular rotation to keep things smooth, but Anemone assures her there's no need since today will be Todo's last. Regardless, Seal says she's going out to prepare for her turn tomorrow, and Goa follows behind her, making Anemone wonder why they think she has no chance against Todo. While out, Goa tries convincing Seal to have a treat with her, and Seal initially declines, knowing that Goa will spike her food. However, she accepts when Goa mentions her favorite ice cream. In the meantime, Todo joins Anemone out in the woods, so when Todo asks where the other ladies are, Anemone lies, saying that they're sick. She tells him not to worry since they are out to get herbs that can help their condition, and Todo buys into the lie. However, the atmosphere between them gets awkward because Todo's the shy type, and Anemone is not one to chit-chat, so they remain silent. Back in town, while Ciel enjoys ice cream at a restaurant, she tells Goa that her sus tricks won't work since she's already cast a spell to detoxify the dessert. This makes her feel like she's number one in their party, but Goa tells her not to be so confident since she hasn't shown her real skill yet. While they chat, some random dude tells them to shut the F up since he and his guys are robbing the place. Despite that, Ciel and Goa remain calm and continue enjoying their ice cream. Back in the woods, in the quest to reduce the awkwardness, Todo summons the courage to ask Anemone about her hobbies, but Anemone forgets she's playing the part of a cute priestess, and flat out tells him she likes booze, money, and his sausage. Realizing she's cooked, she tries to put up a facade, and then she asks Todo the same question. Todo panics at first, but says he likes to lift weights. After that, silence slaps them both in their faces, but Anemone gets curious and asks about the scar on his face, causing his mood to change. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, the leader of the robbers named Zach calls the ladies out for not paying attention to him, but Ciel couldn't care less that he's a B-rank adventurer, since she knows she can take him, so Zach gets pissed and tries attacking her, but the moment he does, he panics at the sight of Ciel's magic. Then he attacks again, and this time Ciel begs Goa to let her have some fun with him. Back in the woods, Todo tells Anemone that he got his scar from a monster, and that he has lost a lot in life, including his family. Now the only thing he cares about is regaining his confidence, so he can believe that surviving the monster was a good thing. Despite his sad story, Anemone still wants to unalive him, so she makes him fall unconscious and prepares to finish him off. In the meantime, Zach wishes he had picked another restaurant to rob since Ciel is just too strong. And to make things worse, his guys have already fallen victim to Goa's charm, with all of them wishing to pour their DNA on her face. After Ciel finishes Zach off, Anemone draws out a special bomb in the woods and attaches it to Todo. Apparently the bomb can't be disarmed, and it will continue to grow until it detonates. At the restaurant, after Ciel and Goa finish dealing with Zach's guys, Goa uses her skill to make the robbers forget them, so word about their powers won't reach Todo. On the way out, Ciel compliments Goa and asks to learn a thing or two about mixing chemicals, and Goa agrees. When they are at it, Ciel mistakenly adds two corrosive chemicals together, and Goa panics since they are cooked. Anemone, on the other hand, sees that her bomb is growing out of control, so she wakes Todo up to get rid of it. Immediately, Todo grabs the bomb and throws it into the atmosphere, and shields Anemone from the blast. As the smoke clears, Anemone is shocked that the bomb damaged a mountain, and that Todo protected her, so she decides to give him a pass for once. But Todo can't help but pass out when she compliments him. However, when they join up with Ciel and Goa, they are shocked to see that their clothes are torn. Goa just tells them that it's chemistry gone wrong, while Ciel swears she'll never touch her stuff again. A few days later, Todo and his party tackle a quest to wipe out a pack of goblins and come out victorious, earning themselves a shot at becoming D-rank adventurers. The catch is simple enough. Complete one more job together as a team, specifically clearing out a dungeon. So the next day, Todo and the girls show up at the dungeon entrance, where a guard is waiting to welcome them and lay out their mission. They are to proceed to the lowest level of the dungeon and return to the top with proof of their success. Curious, Anemone asks how deep the dungeon goes, but the guard refuses to tell her, saying the quest would be less of a test if she knew. Then Goa puts on a facade, saying they'll be just fine if they apply teamwork. but deep down, the girls can't wait to jump on an opportunity to unalive Toto. Apparently, they had a meeting yesterday concerning the quest, where Anemone flat out said she wasn't interested in any teamwork BS. When she questioned the point of ranking up, Goa told her it would present more ways they could use to unalive Toto. Though Anemone wasn't fully on board with the quest, she agreed to it, but the girls knew they'd double-cross each other the moment things kicked off. In the present, they begin the quest, and while they charge into the depths of the dungeon, Toto sees a door that only opens when one offers their mana and strength to it. Since CL is a mage, she goes first, while Toto follows behind and offers his strength to get the door open. On the other side, Toto realizes that a significant amount of his strength is gone, and he wonders if CL is okay, thinking her mana must be drained too. Turns out CL was behind his strength loss, and she plans to use that as her shot to strike him down for good. But before she can act, Anemone shows up out of nowhere and uses her healing magic to replenish Toto's strength, leaving CL completely shocked. Amused, Goa throws a shade at her, saying she's being too predictable, and that it's game on for whoever wants Toto dead. A while later, Toto reaches a room covered in flames, so Anemone realizes she could use the place to her advantage, since it would increase the damage of her bombs. But she gets frustrated when CL clears the room of flames with her magic. In the next chamber, Goa finds it filled with toxic gas, so she tries to intoxicate the other girls to keep them from interfering with her plans for Toto. However, she's shocked to find out the girls are already immune to her chemical. Eventually, they reach a room with 3 doors. One leads to wealth, another to pleasure, and the last to glory. All 3 girls pick one each and try to force Toto to pick a side, but because Toto can't pick between losing Goa or Anemone's mommy milkers, he punches the ground, forcing everyone to crash into the deepest part of the dungeon. There, a creepy old man named Bale shows up, claiming he's the final boss, and he says the only way to pass the test is if any of them can land a single hit on him. Right when he takes a second look at Goa and Anemone, he falls in love with their milkers, wishing he could clap them on and off the battlefield. But unfortunately for him, he only gets to clap Toto. As the battle begins, he underestimates Toto, thinking he's just a pushover, but he's impressed when Toto actually holds his own against him. Eventually, the girls ask to join in on the fun, and when Toto agrees, they all secretly channel their powers to give Belle a boost. Toto doesn't realize this and thinks he's the one being boosted, but despite the odds, he one-shots Belle with a nasty punch and wins. As the girls exhale in disappointment, CL looks up, and her mood changes when she notices someone disappearing from sight. A while later, Toto and his party are granted a medal, signifying that they are now D-rank adventurers. CL claims their success is thanks to teamwork, but Toto reminds them that they argued back in the 3-door chamber. Not wanting to risk exposure, the girls pretend to love each other just this once to fool Toto into thinking everything's cool, but the moment he turns his back, Anemone swears to cut off Goa's milkers, while CL regrets not taking out her ops when she had the chance. But before they can fight to the death, Toto's stomach growls loudly, so Goa suggests they get drinks to celebrate their promotions. That evening, they all chill at a restaurant and toast to their new rank, but Anemone takes the drinking too far and starts fumbling excuses to justify it. An hour later, she's completely wasted and starts seeing CL as her kid sister, while Toto is brain dead from having too much of Goa's milkers in his face. CL is the only one still sober since she's not into alcohol, but after accepting a sweet treat from Goa, she ends up getting wasted too. An hour later, when Goa sees that the girls are properly intoxicated, she suggests they fight to the death, but then changes her mind and admits she actually likes having them around. Though Anemone thinks she's bluffing, she chills out when Goa reveals she's never had a friend before, and she's genuinely happy to finally have people to talk to. For the first time, Anemone admits she's enjoying herself, and even CL says things aren't so bad after all. As time passes, Toto finally wakes up and is glad to see that everyone's acting normal again, so he thanks them for the journey so far and vows to do everything he can to protect them. Later that night, while everyone's asleep, CL senses the same person she saw earlier, and it turns out to be Quenil, a member of the Demon Lord's Royal Guard. When CL was younger, she spent her days locked in relentless training and study under Hoppy, the chief instructor of the Demon Lord's castle. Other demons would watch from the sidelines, snickering and mocking her as pathetic whenever she faltered during the brutal regimen. Now Hoppy greets CL warmly, remarking that it's been a long time since they last met. CL immediately objects, but Hoppy waves it off, insisting that a month is more than long enough by her standards. Realizing that Hoppy has been keeping a close eye on her lately, CL grows uneasy, already suspecting the reason. Instead, Hoppy catches her off guard by fussing over her, doting on her and calling her cute. She adds that everyone back home has missed her, but CL cuts her short, asking her to get to the point. Hoppy finally does, explaining that she's here to take CL back if she's proven incapable of assassinating the hero. In other words, CL needs more training and is expected to return to the castle. Looking at the concern on CL's face, Hoppy asks her if training with her was that bad. But CL doesn't say a word and grips her nightgown tightly. As a result, Hoppy gives CL the ultimatum of fulfilling her mission the next day and informs her that she'll be watching. With that, she takes off into the night. Left alone, CL reassures herself that she's simply been holding back all this while because of her freedom and that she has a surefire plan that'll work. The next day, the party gathers at the inn, and Anemone, who suffers from an extreme hangover, shows up in a revealing outfit that sends Toto's mind into the gutter. He immediately passes out, and Goa scolds her for her outfit, but Anemone retorts, pointing out the seductive queen's hypocrisy. They argue back and forth before noticing that CL isn't interjecting, so they ask her what's up. CL then breaks it to them that they are enemies despite the fun they had last night, and that she'll eliminate them along with the hero if necessary. The others don't flinch at her words and commend her to give it her best shot. When they notice that Toto has regained consciousness, Goa informs him that they can travel to new places for adventures now that they are D rank. To start things off, she says she'll be shopping with Anemone for items they'll need for their excursion, while he should go alone with CL to a D rank dungeon. Goa winks at CL, indicating that she's giving her a chance to eliminate the hero, and whispers to her that they are friends despite being rivals. Later that day, CL takes Toto to a D-less forest cave, informing him that their mission is to get rid of death rats. As they go deeper into the cave, Toto knocks out one of the rats that charges at CL and tells her it's his job to protect her. She gets flustered and quickly leads the way to where she's sure more of the creatures are, noting that Toto is nearly invulnerable to damage based on past observations. She baits him into falling for a trap, but he easily stops it and apologizes to her for being careless. Seeing that physical traps don't work on Toto, CL takes him to a totem which serves as a key to a door ahead. She explains how it works and examines it with magic, then increases the rate of stamina consumption to 90%. As earnest as always, Toto touches the totem to activate the door and loses a huge amount of stamina. The door opens, and as they are about to enter the next room, CL notices that Hoppy is watching her. She calls Toto's attention and flashes her plot armor at him instantly. He passes out, and CL steals her resolve to assassinate him. As she casts the spell, she recalls being mocked and scorned by other demons because she was a Demon King candidate. Back then, she would study, but they would openly gossip about her, so much that it was hard for her to bear. Currently, she summons a magical scythe and uses it on Toto, and to her surprise, it works. The scythe cuts into his chest and strips him of his armor. CL decides to go again but ends up killing a death rat close to him. Toto wakes up seconds later, and she informs him of the kill and proceeds to heal his wound. While at it, she notes it's the second time she hasn't been able to kill him when she had the chance and wonders what's gotten into her. Suddenly, Toto reacts to attack a death rat close to her, and she misinterprets it as him being aware of what she did earlier. The attack kills the creature, and she sees they are surrounded by many more, so they back each other and prepare for combat. But before fighting, Toto reassures her that everything will be fine and he'll protect her no matter what. His reaffirming words give her butterflies, and they start the onslaught. Later, they return to the inn to meet Anemone and Goa, and the girls are shocked at Toto's injury. Toto commends CL for treating him, but Goa hurriedly nurses his wounds. In the meantime, Anemone confirms CL to have been the inflictor, and when asked to help heal Toto, she lies that she's incapable and asks for CL's permission to utilize the opportunity to kill him. As expected, CL refuses, claiming it's still her turn, and Anemone agrees. While the ladies chat with Toto, CL wonders why she feels comfortable with them. Later that night, Hoppy tells CL that she witnessed how she helped Toto in the cave instead of finishing him off. She calls it a treasonable act, and to her surprise, CL agrees to be punished and taken back to the castle. She admits that she wavered towards the end and believes there's a chance the harsh training will straighten her back up. Confirming CL's decision, Hoppy walks to her and shocks her by informing her that she's free to continue with her party. Confused, CL asks why, and Hoppy reveals her mission was to confirm if she was fit to take independent action. Despite her failure to take down the hero, CL's incantation speed and dark magic potency were enough. Hoppy then adds that CL seems far more full of life compared to before, so she encourages her to continue with her friends since emotional development is a vital element of gaining independence. Hoppy commends her, and before leaving she tells CL she knows she is in love with Toto, but CL denies it. Hoppy starts fantasizing about forbidden love, but CL snaps her out of it. As Hoppy flies off, she remembers CL being so cold and resenting her bloodline, but now that she's changed, Hoppy glad flies into the night. The next morning, Anemone shows up in a dazzling nightgown, and Toto passes out at first sight. Goa then praises advises her, join her shopping to work on her seduction. They start quarreling, but this time Seal interjects. They face her, noting that she's feeling better. Without realizing they knew she felt down the previous day, Seal asks them what they meant, and Goa opens up that Toto was worried about her but, being shy, asked her earlier. She then tells Seal to let them know if she ever needs to talk about anything, because they are rivals and friends. Anemone scoffs at the idea of being called their friend, but she reveals that she doesn't want to see Seal depressed. Toto regains consciousness shortly after, and Goa tells him that Ciel is fine. The party then asks him what their next goal is, and Goa tells them they can start exploring. When asked where they'll spend the night, she tells them they'll be camping. The thought of spending the night with the beautiful ladies causes the hero's head to steam, but he holds the urge to pass out. Goa commends him for it and proceeds to finish him with her mommy milkers. Watching them, Ciel wonders how she ended up with such a defective party, but when Goa asks her if she'll be looking forward to their exploration, she affirms. A few days later, Goa announces she's cooked up an expedition that takes the party out of their current city. Their destination is a place called Ani, and the mere idea of travel sends Ciel into a quiet internal fireworks show since she's always dreamed of exploring beyond familiar walls. Anemone, ever the voice of suspicion, questions why they even need to leave town. Goa casually explains she picked up a quest. Nothing fancy, just securing and hauling some cargo over the next few days while they adventure. The job had been sitting untouched because the goods were absurdly heavy, but Goa took it anyway for the fat payout. Naturally, Toto hoists the load like it's a bag of groceries, completely ignoring the laws of physics. The girls watch in stunned silence, thoroughly impressed and possibly reconsidering everything they know about him. Meanwhile, some bandit lurks around the woods, keeping close tabs on them. As the party begins their journey, Ciel warns Toto not to pass out since she doesn't want to deal with carrying him when he's out. But before she can complete her statement, the wind raises her gown up, and the sight of her plot armor knocks Toto out cold. Pissed, Ciel is forced to carry him all through the day, and the party makes little progress on their journey. Toto regains consciousness the next day and apologizes for passing out yesterday, but Ciel partly blames herself for it. Meanwhile, Anemone is dying to have a quick smoke, and since she needs to act like a good girl around Toto, she tries her best to hold it down. A few hours in and she almost loses her mind, so she forces her milkers on Toto, causing him to pass out again. That evening, when he regains consciousness, he apologizes, but Goa brushes it off and says it's fine. He joins them for dinner, and in a short while, everyone goes to bed except Goa. She sits on night duty and notices when the bandit from yesterday shows up. The dude asks her to surrender the package she's moving, threatening to sell her and the others off to a merchant with weird unplotted tastes. Goa laughs after hearing this and allows him to carry the package, only for the dude to become weak after touching it. Apparently, Goa laced the package with a powerful hallucinogen, and the bandit realizes he's cooked when he figures it out. The following morning, Toto wakes up disappointed because he slept past his shift at night, but Goa tells him everything is fine. He asks if anything happened while he was out, and she lies to him. Little does he know that she clapped the unlucky bandit with a love charm all night. Later that morning, the party resumes their journey, but they are forced to take a break when Toto gets hungry. Since Goa is tired from night watch, she appoints Ciel to join Toto on a fishing mission so they can all have something to eat. At first, Ciel seems dismissive, but deep down she likes the idea of fishing. On the contrary, she regrets going fishing with Toto because it's taking too long to catch anything. When Toto notices, he suggests jumping into the river to catch something himself, and Ciel offers to give him a magical boost. Deep down, she wants to push Toto deep so he doesn't make it back up, but to her shock, Toto swims back up with a monster fish, and Ciel argues that she can't eat that. On taking another look at the fish, she realizes that it reacts weird when stranded on land, but before she can move a muscle, the fish spits on both of them and jumps back into the river. Ciel laughs at everything that just happened and derives pleasure in jumping into the river with Toto to catch fish. This time it's fun, and they are successful in catching a lot, which Goa spices and roasts that evening. Everyone enjoys the meal, but Ciel thinks twice about eating it with her hands since she's royalty. After thinking things through, she gives royalty the middle finger and digs into the delicious meal. The following day, the party finally arrives at their destination, and Toto joins Goa to deliver the package. Before leaving, Goa tells the girls to go clothes shopping since the town is famous for having good threads and stylish outfits. Anemone looks forward to it, but the moment Toto leaves, she stops by a restaurant for another smoke. This makes Ciel wonder if Anemone has lungs at all, and she declines sharing a smoke with her. In the meantime, Goa and Toto deliver the package, and the dealer is happy since no one else would take the job. She complains that it's often hard for her to get deliveries from the previous previous town, and Toto wonders why. At a restaurant, CL questions why Anemone hasn't made any attempt on Toto's life since today is her turn, but she says she's just observing. CL offers to do Toto for her, but Anemone teases her and says she's the same person who has been having fun with Toto lately. Pissed, CL says she's just trying out new ideas, so Anemone teases her again and rubs it in her face that she wants the journey with Toto to last. As CL crashes out, Anemone laughs, telling her to try out those new ideas when they go shopping with Toto. Later that afternoon, Anemone baits Toto to join her shopping and choose her outfits since he usually faints whenever she wears something cute. At the store, Toto's first pick doesn't sit well with Anemone, so she decides to wear something else. Though she doesn't show that much skin, Toto can tell she looks like an assassin, and he passes out after she smiles at him. When he regains consciousness, she tries a bunny outfit, but she doesn't like it. Goa then takes over and decides it's high time she covers her milkers, but even after wearing a hot spandex fit, Toto takes one look and passes out again. After the girls try several other fits, Anemone is forced to wear an English-styled outfit and looks quite decent. But despite that, Toto passes out again. As a result, the girls revert to their normal outfits, leaving Toto to deal with his cooked brain, and he ends up promising to handle seeing their plots without passing out. The following day, they arrive at the next city, thinking it's the fortress city of Defori, but the guard tells them it's a city of love, leaving all of them shocked. Earlier, Anemone had mentioned she'd visited the city before and remembered it as a hotspot for blacksmiths and weapons, so she's completely thrown off when the gate guard proudly announces that the town is now dedicated to love. Since only couples who are madly in love are allowed inside, Seal immediately suggests they skip the place entirely and go literally anywhere else. Anemone is more than happy to second that motion. Goa, however, finds the whole concept fascinating, and Toto, curious as ever, decides to roll with it. To get past the gate, he and Goa pretend to be a couple, successfully bluffing their way inside. Once through the gates, Goa scans the streets filled with hand-holding, cuddling, and aggressively affectionate couples and mutters that this is absolutely not how she remembers the town. Everything feels off, soaked in romance like it's in the water supply. But what really rattles Toto and Goa is watching a poor traveler get arrested on the spot for the unforgivable crime of being single. Apparently, those who don't publicly display their love get thrown in the dungeon, and since Toto and Goa are travelers, they're easily spotted and questioned to prove whether or not they love each other. To avoid getting locked up, Goa slams her milkers on Toto to fool the guards into thinking they're a couple, while Toto bites himself just to avoid fainting on the spot. Once the guards leave, Goa suggests they check out the Adventurers Guild to see how things are. But what they don't know is that some dude is watching them from a distance. At the guild, Goa and Toto realize that all the adventurers are couples in love, including the receptionist. She reveals that the town doesn't need supplies from the neighboring town because the people here believe they already have all they need, which is peace and love. Goa finds everything weird and even considers the possibility that the entire town might be hypnotized. Toto feels the same way but wonders why anyone would hypnotize a whole town into falling in love. Goa thinks a monster might be behind it, and as a result, Toto suggests they begin an investigation to figure out what's going on. Before leaving, the dude who was watching them earlier shows up, and his name is Tim. Turns out, he's one of the few who are still normal in town, so he leads the way to his hideout to talk to Toto and Goa privately. There, he begs them to save the town, revealing that everything changed when a new minister took over at the castle. Back then, those who remained normal were captured, and Tim's parents were taken away too. He weeps as he tells his story and begs for help again. Moved, Toto pats him on the head, offering to save his family, and Goa agrees to help as well. She leaves with Toto to regroup with the others outside town, but after hearing what's going on, only Anemone shows interest in interfering. As for CL, she doesn't want to because there's nothing in it for her, but Anemone says she's doing it for her pride. Now CL suggests splitting the party into two, with one group infiltrating the castle. Anemone agrees but proposes a game of rock paper scissors, insisting that the loser has to go with Toto. One round later, she finds herself paired with Toto, and she plays the part of a loving wife to get past the guards. CL laughs at her lovey-dovey act, thinking she's free from it, only for Goa to tell her that they're going in too. Just like that, CL ends up playing the part of a loving stepsister obsessed with scissors just to get into the town. Once inside, she swears to burn the place to the ground, but Goa tells her to keep that as a last resort. In the meantime, Anemone sees for herself that the whole town has been hypnotized, but she assures Toto that they won't fall under the spell as long as they don't spend too much time there. Meanwhile, that's a lie, since the only reason she's not drunk in love is because she's developed resistance to Goa's chemicals. Toto then tells her not to hesitate to attack him if he loses it, and she agrees immediately, even offering to dispose of him if necessary. But when she sees the shock on Toto's face, she dismisses what she said as a joke. Right then, some of the townspeople try to coerce them into sharing a drink, but since they fear getting hypnotized, they decline. Consequently, they draw a lot of negative attention, so Toto resists the urge to faint and acts like Anemone is his newly wedded wife to make the people back off. It works, but even after they get to a corner, some townsfolk find them again, and they're forced to act like couples to avoid suspicion. After a few lovey-dovey hours, Toto and Anemone finally arrive at the castle, and they're surprised when the guards let them in so easily. In the meantime, Tim seems worried about Toto, but Goa assures him that he'll be fine. As for Seal, she uses an enchanted sphere to get a bird's-eye view of the town, but finds it strange that she can't see past the castle. When Goa asks why, she explains that there's a ton of magic concentrated there, meaning the hypnotic effect is strongest inside. All the while, Toto and Anemone make it into the castle, but notice that it seems completely empty. Mid-search, Anemone suddenly falls under the influence of the hypnotic spell. She begins to see Toto differently and desires that he fills her up with his love. Right then, Toto realizes she's hypnotized and tries to talk her back to her senses. However, Anemone gets pissed and decides to beat him into falling in love with her. Their fight ends up drawing the attention of nearby guards, who surround them and warn that fighting on castle grounds is prohibited. When one of the guards suspects that Toto isn't truly in love with Anemone, Toto makes a sudden decision to turn himself in, using it as a chance to gain access to the dungeon. Once locked up, he sees other travelers like himself, and even discovers that Tim's parents are imprisoned there too. After confirming that Tim's safe, Toto promises to save the town, but one of the prisoners scoffs, reminding him that he's locked up as well. Before their eyes, Toto breaks free from his shackles like it's nothing, and for the first time, the prisoners dare to hope that they might actually escape. What Toto doesn't know, however, is that Anemone is already with the minister, and she's revealed that Goa and Seal are currently infiltrating the town. Meanwhile, Goa grows frustrated since Seal can't figure out what's going on inside the castle. But deep down, Seal doesn't really mind if everyone gets hypnotized, because she has no intention of saving anyone at all. Still, Goa calls her attention when she notices something glinting in the distance, reflecting light toward their position. Ciel narrows her eyes, looks closer, and realizes the truth that Anemone has them in her sights and is ready to take them out with a sniper. Anemone suddenly fires off an attack at the girls, but Ciel swats it aside with magic like it's an annoying fly. Goa squints and wonders aloud if Anemone might be under some kind of mind control, while Ciel, utterly unbothered, shrugs and suggests she could just be putting on an act. Still annoyed about being shot at, Ciel snaps and releases a surge of magical energy straight from her body. Anemone responds by calmly reaching out, beckoning the girls to come closer, fully aware that her earlier attack hadn't actually unalived them. In an instant, a swarm of magical monsters floods the sky, only for Anemone to shoot them down one by one. She quickly sees through Ciel's ploy, realizing she's trying to disguise herself among the creatures. Undeterred, Ciel charges anyway, but Anemone sidesteps the assault with ease. Ciel then demands to know if Anemone is hypnotized. Anemone flatly denies it, and, without hesitation, boldly declares that she genuinely loves the hero. Anemone voicing her feelings out loud is something she'd never normally do, so Ciel can tell she's completely hypnotized. Ciel feels bad that she can't fight Anemone in her right state, but she still creates magical blades and hurls them at her. In return, Anemone fires an RPG, and the impact ricochets through the castle. Toto and the others feel the shockwave, and he immediately suspects Anemone is the cause. Back outside, the girls continue fighting until the minister interrupts them. Ciel seizes the chance and stabs him with a knife, hoping to snap Anemone out of the illusion, but it doesn't work. Anemone then pins Ciel to the ground, and the dead minister morphs into Yuria Mios, a fiend who knows Ciel. Realizing Yuria infiltrated the humans and put them under hypnosis, Ciel warns her to let go or risk starting a war between demons and her race. But Yuria replies that she never liked the Demon King anyway. She then asks Ciel how it's her fault, since Ciel willingly walked into her territory despite knowing it was a trap. Yuria then switches places with Anemone and begins draining Ciel's mana. At that same time, the crystal Ciel gave Goa to track her well-being breaks. Goa recalls Ciel leaving things up to her and provoking her by claiming she's a better hypnotist than the suspect they had in mind. Now, Goa clings to the broken crystal, furious, yelling that she's the only one who gets to have her way with her friends. She then hands Tim a pouch containing smoke bombs, paralysis drugs, and healing potions, telling him to hold the fort while she's gone. Curious, Tim asks if she's heading to the castle, and she confirms, saying she intends to rescue her friends. Meanwhile, Toto sneaks out of the dungeon with a group of prisoners. He takes them to a safe room, telling them to stay put while he goes to save the town. One of the prisoners then informs him that the minister shouldn't be in the reception hall on the 3rd floor. Toto climbs the castle, facing more guards the higher he goes. When he finally reaches the 3rd floor, he enters the reception hall and senses a powerful aura. Opening the door, he sees Anemone and Ciel CL both hypnotized, waiting for him. As they beckon him to join them, Toto spots Yuria and asks if she's behind the hypnosis. Annoyed by his simplicity, she confirms and says she'll humor him. Toto then asks where the minister is, and Yuria reveals it was her all along. Toto braces himself, worried about fighting Yuria without harming his friends. But Yuria shocks him, revealing she's always had the power to hypnotize everyone, and she just kept the rest in the dungeons as hostages. She then intensifies her hypnosis, causing Toto to lose control of his limbs. Stunned, he watches as Yuria orders his friends to seduce him with their tricks. Toto struggles to stay focused as their charms press against him. But just then, Goa shows up, declaring it's her turn. She boldly claims that the hero belongs to her, irritating both CL and Anemone. As they argue with Goa, she glares at Yuria and confirms she's the one behind the town's hypnosis. She mocks Yuria's skills, saying she's terrible at it, which angers Yuria enough to send the girls to attack. As they rush in, Goa activates her hypnosis, forcing the girls to kneel before her. Shocked, Yuria wonders how Goa managed such a feat against a fiend, especially since reckless hypnosis could destroy her friends' minds. Goa then tells Toto she can only hold the girls at bay, so he must defeat Yuria while they have the chance. Despite being stunned, Toto summons his willpower to resist her hypnosis, but Yuria fires a powerful attack. When the smoke clears, Toto is unharmed. Furious, she unleashes more magic, but nothing affects him. Enraged, she transforms into a wild beast and lunges at him. But Toto breaks free of her hypnosis with sheer determination and lands a punch, declaring he promised to save everyone. The blow tears a hole through the beast, and the hypnosis finally wears off everyone. As the others escape the room, Goa sees Yuria trapped under the beast and finishes her off, scoffing that she's not fun enough to be her pet. With the battle over, they leave the castle, and everyone rejoices at being freed from hypnosis. Outside, Tim reunites with his parents, while Anemone quickly points out that she can't remember anything she said or did while under hypnosis. CL joins in, backing up what Anemone said, but Goa tricks her by lying that CL called Toto her husband. CL immediately objects, saying she only said he's hers, revealing that she was fully aware of everything that happened. Anemone blushes hard, wishing the ground would swallow her up, and denies that what she said to Toto reflected her true feelings. Moments later, the town's head shows up, thanking Toto for rescuing them. He then invites Toto and his party to celebrate with them later that night. That evening, the party enjoys a feast celebrating their victory, and during it, Toto asks Goa where they should head next. Pointing to a town on the map, he suggests stopping by either the fishing village or Anglin. They all agree, and later that night as they return to their inn, CL teases Anemone. Toto, meanwhile, thanks Goa for saving them, noting that it seemed like she overwrote Yuria's hypnosis. Surprised that Toto is starting to catch on to her abilities, she asks if he saw her whip. When he confirms, he also asks if it's her skill. Toto then mentions how fast Anemone is and how CL managed to make it to the castle by herself. Curious, he asks them what their skills are, but instead of answering, they use their charms on him and make him pass out. Once it works, they ask Goa to give him something to erase his memory. The party rolls into Anglin, a sunny beach town, and CL immediately bolts off in pure excitement, thrilled that she finally gets to try her hand at fishing. Goa quickly reins her in, reminding everyone that quests come before seaside shenanigans, so the first stop is the guild. Inside, the receptionist cheerfully points them to a poster advertising an upcoming wrestling contest, proudly dubbing it a once-a-year festival. The announcement instantly hooks Anemone's interest, prompting her to ask about the prize. The man answers without ceremony, it's a towel. Seeing that there aren't any other quests, the party stares at the sea, noting how peaceful Anglin is compared to the other towns. Goa then suggests they have a blast at the beach. Minutes later, the girls appear in their beach suits, and Toto gets knocked out instantly by the sight. Now that they're out in the open, Goa asks for ideas, but CL simply says that she wants to fish. Despite it being a good idea, Goa suggests playing in the water, and within seconds the girls are splashing each other. Frustrated that the others have forgotten their main goal, Anemone stares at them in disbelief until she gets splashed and instantly runs to join in on the fun. Meanwhile, Freysner, a B-rank hero, shows up at the town's guild and belittles the place. He proudly announces his name to the receptionist to prove he is far above the standards of the town. The guild receptionist then tells him that there aren't any quests, but Freysner's assistant points out the wrestling tournament poster. Freysner immediately declares that he'll win if he enters and walks off, but then he hears people playing at the beach and spots Goa, a beauty sent from the heavens. Immediately he dashes toward her, calling her a dazzling beauty worthy of a B-rank hero like him. The other girls notice and assume he's just a playboy, but when they hear him asking Goa to join his party, they conclude that he's headhunting. Instantly, Toto interjects, and once Freysner learns he's a D-rank hero, he boasts about his own rank and proposes a duel for Goa. To Toto's surprise, Goa accepts the offer but suggests that they settle it in the wrestling tournament instead. Freysner instantly reluctantly agrees, believing it'll be like taking candy from a baby, while CL sees the whole tournament as nothing more than barbaric. Surprisingly, Anemone suggests they join the tournament. She explains to CL that it's their chance to have Goa kicked out of the team by making Toto faint, and then intentionally losing in the finals to Freesnare. Worried, Toto warns them how dangerous it could be, but they remind him that it's just a tournament and encourage him to do his best to prevent Goa from leaving their party. Anemone, on the other hand, meets with Goa and tells her she's brought doom upon herself by coming up with such rules, but Goa responds nonchalantly, as if already aware of the results. They sign up for the contest, and the following day the announcer reveals Goa as the tournament's grand prize. This gets the whole community fired up and draws in a flood of participants. Before the battles commence, the announcer lists the rules of the event. To win, one must either push their opponent or their watermelon out of the ring, or smash their opponent's watermelon. All of this must be done without the use of weapons, magic, or skills. The tournament begins with Toto going up against a no-name local arm wrestling champion, and to the townsfolk's surprise, Toto wins hands down. Next, Anemone faces Gautia, the fastest in town, but she easily trips him into the sea. CL, on the other hand, is matched with Freesnare. He looks down on her, but when the match starts she evades all his strikes, shocking Toto with how well she holds her own against a B ranker. However, as the fight continues, CL instinctively uses her magic to float above Freesnare, which leads to her disqualification. After the match, Toto praises CL, but she lies to him, saying she had secretly been using magic while battling Freesnare. In the next round, Anemone and Toto face each other. Before the match, Toto asks her to withdraw because he cannot raise his hands against women, but she calmly assures him otherwise. Walking up to him, she uses her charms to try and seduce him into passing out. Surprisingly, Toto struggles to remain conscious, determined not to let Anemone get injured if she were to face Freesnare in his stead. He even tries to grab her melon, but she swiftly evades. Quickly, Anemone switches tactics, choosing the lady's approach. She kisses him on the cheek, causing Toto to drop his watermelon and pass out. With that, she advances to the finals. Just before her match with Freesnare, she meets Goa to rub in her victory, but Goa remains calm, simply resting her hand on Anemone's shoulder. Later, Anemone faces Freesnare in the finals. She plans to pretend to struggle for a bit before throwing the match, and as she carries out her act, her outfit suddenly rips in half, exposing her milkers. Instinctively, she punches Freesnare off the stage, unintentionally winning the contest. Minutes later, the party celebrates Anemone's victory. Goa runs up to her, hugging her and praising her for fighting on her behalf. Anemone tries to explain what really happened, but then realizes that Goa had been behind it all along. Pissed, Freesnare demands a rematch with Toto, but before anything can happen, a monster suddenly emerges from the sea and attacks. Freesnare seizes the chance to show off his strength by charging at it, but to his shock, nothing happens. As he wonders what went wrong, Toto appears from behind and punches a massive hole straight through the creature, unaliving it in a single strike. Instantly, Freesnare apologizes to Toto for being rude and misjudging his strength. He keeps running his mouth, asking if he can join Toto's party and prying into the source of his power. Later that evening, the town hosts a feast to thank Toto's party for their help, with Freesnare tagging along and acting like Toto's lackey. As he continues chattering, Goa teases Anemone after noticing her staring at Toto, sparking an argument between the two. Meanwhile, Freesnare's assistant quietly approaches CL, calling her the Demon King's daughter. Shocked, she asks who he is. He removes his helmet, revealing himself as a Dullahan, leaving her confused as to why someone like him would be traveling alongside a hero. Stunned by the sudden reveal, Toto immediately jumps in front of CL in full hero protection mode, only to be stopped by Freesnare, who calmly introduces the Dullahan as Koist, his trusted attendant and best friend. Anemone blinks in disbelief, clearly struggling to process that explanation, but Freesnare reassures her that Koisti has zero intentions of harming anyone. Meanwhile, CL subtly signals to Koisti to keep her true identity under wraps, and he wordlessly agrees, sealing the secret. Koist opens up about his backstory, how he was cast aside for being a Dullahan who couldn't ride horses. Because of that, he was left to fend for himself at such a tender age, but at one point he ran into Freesnare, who at first sight decided to help him. After listening to his story, Freesnare took him along, and they became friends ever since. Despite the hardships Koist faced, he was happy to have Freesnare with him. Currently, Goa praises Freesnare for being a good guy, but as he tries to play it cool and natural, Koist nukes his aura by calling him a lot of bad names. Still, he informs them that Freesnare is a good person. After hearing their story, the party learns that Freesnare doesn't care about fighting monsters or protecting them, but about finding more things he thinks are good. In turn, he asks Toto his adventuring purpose. At first, Toto reveals it's to defeat the Demon Lord, but then he wonders if it's alright to say so in front of a monster. To his surprise, Koist tells him that it doesn't bother him and explains further that not all monsters side with the Demon King, and some want to befriend humans. Persistent, Freesnare asks Toto the source of his strength, and finally Toto tells him he got it from working out. Freesnare freaks out since it doesn't sound believable, and Anemone calls his reaction normal. Later, Freisner offers to join Todo's party, but Goa and Anemone politely decline, saying it won't be good for a party to have two heroes. With that, Freisner and Koist bid them farewell, and as they leave, Freisner notes that it's rare for Koisti to reveal himself to others. When he asks why, Koisti simply tells him he had his reasons. After the party leaves Anglin, they arrive at a forest later that night and face a monster. An easy one Todo can deal with, but he pulls back his punches after remembering good monsters like the Dullahan exist. As a result, he trips and chooses to scare it away instead. Seal quietly notices the change in his actions, and later that night, while camping, Todo puts himself in Freisner's shoes and wonders if it's possible for him to bond with a monster. He then recalls his hometown being scorched to the ground and one of the hideous creatures burning him. The girls watch him from the tent and accurately conclude why he is shaken. After noting that they also have a monster in their party, Seal reveals that she was shocked to see such a duo. Conflicted, she wonders if she can become friends with Todo, recalling that he is a threat to her father. She makes up her mind and sits with him outside. There he opens up to her about how he's not sure what to do as a hero, but she tells him not to think too hard about it, because if he gets too attached to his enemy, he won't be able to fight when it counts. While encouraging him, CL sounds like a hypocrite, so she asks him if he loves her. Todo, who suffers from an inferiority complex, tells her he cherishes her. After getting the answer she wants, she asks him if he'd still love the girls if she were a demon and the others weren't who they claimed to be. To the girls' surprise, Todo affirms that he'll love them no matter what, and he wonders if the main purpose of his journey is to find a way to overcome their differences. Seal loves his answer, but then lies to him, saying it was only a hypothetical question. With her burdened heart lightened, she bids him goodnight, but when she gets into the tent, the girls tease her for wanting to know Todo's feelings. As they argue, Todo smiles, noting that they are getting closer. Later, Anemone and Goa question Seal for almost revealing their identity earlier, but she assures them that Todo isn't sharp enough to figure it out. As Goa teases Seal, she recalls asking Todo the same question about whether he loved them, and Todo gave her a heartwarming reply. Later that night, while the girls sleep, Goa tries scaling Todo's love for them, believing it'll skew towards Ciel, noting that despite being a demon, she's pure and will get along with humans. Goa also chooses Anemone over herself, knowing Anemone is very kind. Meanwhile, Goa believes no one would pick her if it weren't for her skills or drugs, so she sees herself as an incompatible member. As she self-loathes, darkness crawls around her, covering her body. The next morning, while Anemone thanks Todo for keeping watch, she teases Ciel for being shy. Goa, on the other hand, shows up and tries to act like she's alright, but Todo notices that she looks pale. As usual, Goa fakes it like everything is fine. Later, the party arrives at Decide, their destination, and Ciel remembers their first task, which was to go to the guild. Todo praises her like she just got a perfect score on a math exam, and as he walks her to the guild, Anemone asks Goa what's wrong. Immediately, Goa teases her for acting kind, riling her up and brushing her concerns off. At the guild, Glasses informs them that they are eligible to take C-rank quests. The girls ask Todo if they should, and he affirms after remembering his conversation with Ciel. Fired up, they plan to head out for their quest, but Goa advises them to crash at an inn for the day. As expected, she gets them a room to share. Almost immediately, Todo passes out, and Goa tells the girls to put him on the sofa or the ground. As they unwind, she asks them whose turn it is to take down Todo. They immediately get serious, but then give her the go-ahead to do so the following day. Later that night, Goa wakes while the others sleep. The next morning, Anemone tries talking to the hero after seeing him backing her, but when she touches him, his body collapses and blood splatters on her face. That's when she discovers a knife stuck in his chest, with blood all over the ground. Shocked, she declares Todo dead. Anemone stares at her blood-smeared hands, baffled as to why her knife is lodged so deeply in Todo's body. Before she can piece it together, a group of clients strolls in, cheerfully thanking her for taking Todo out and casually asking if she'd done it while he was asleep. Thoroughly disoriented, Anemone asks where her party members are, then pauses, suddenly unsure who they even are. The men, clearly uninterested in her confusion, hand over her payment without ceremony. With that settled, she pockets the reward and heads off in search of something strong to drink. Drunk and out of habit, she calls for her friends but realizes that they aren't around. Before leaving the bar, she tips the bartender and tells him she plans to use all the gold with her to make her dream come true. Meanwhile, Ciel goes to the Demon King, and he commends her for taking down Todo. With that, he declares her the next Demon Lord, and the minions praise her for ascending the throne. She recalls waking up in that inn without remembering her other teammates, and when she heads outside, she sees a crowd and spots Todo's corpse outside. From them she learns that he lost his life after being attacked by a monster. Later, Hoppy returned to her and congratulated her for taking Toto down. Currently, she informs Seal that she saw the monster Seal summoned against Toto. Hoppy then prepares a banquet of sweets for her, and Seal digs into it. As she savors the taste, her bad mouthers show up and apologize for belittling her. One of the butlers presents her with a grilled fish, and as she happily receives it, she struggles to remember where she first tried it out. Anemone, on the other hand, visits kids in an orphanage she built with the rest of the money she had. As the nuns praise her for being a saint, she talks like a saint, noting that the journey took too long. An image of her journey with the party flashes across her mind, but she fails to decipher it and wonders what journey she meant. As for Ciel, she beats her friends at cards and tells them that she got better at it in her journey. She too tries to decipher what journey she was on. An orphan child snaps Anemone out of her thoughts and asks her to play cards. Seeing that Anemone doesn't know how to play, the child offers to teach her. Anemone admits that she doesn't know how to play but feels like it rings a bell. Later that night, Ciel lies on her bed, and as she notes that she has everything she wants, she feels something is missing. As for Toto, he wakes up and sees the girls in alluring nightgowns, and he doesn't pass out. He advises them to put some clothes on, and they happily answer him. On their way to the guild, the party praises Toto, and he notes that he's in good spirits. At the guild, the receptionist assigns them to capture a wyvern, which is the strongest in town, and after going on the mission, Toto easily captures it, and the party returns to town with the monster. Everyone hails Toto for his job well done, and he is glad he can confidently converse with everyone. Meanwhile, Goa uses one of her potions to make the party members sleep soundly, and she says they won't be able to wake up again. Anybody who smells the fragrance will be sent into a trance, and once trapped, they'll lose their vitality and memories. At a point, they'll become empty husks, and that's when she gets to control them completely. As Goa celebrates her victory, her childhood memory flashes across her mind where she saves a child with her powers from being sold as a slave. The girl she saved pushed her off, afraid of her powers to control people's decisions, and even thought Goa had manipulated her to be her friend. Left alone, Goa cried, and currently she assures herself that the party members won't be able to tell they're dreaming. Meanwhile, little Goa appears in Anemone's dream, telling Anemone to remember who she is and that her journey isn't over. Confused, Anemone takes her as one of the orphans and finds her familiar. Suddenly, the caretakers show up and try to take the girl away, saying she doesn't belong there. One of the caretakers then tells Anemone that her journey is over. As Anemone struggles to remember, they tell her that she's living her dream, so she gives up but suffers from a headache. Meanwhile, little Goa is brought to Seal by her guards, and after examining her, she commands them to throw Goa off. Before the guards carry her off, Goa yells at her to remember that her journey isn't over. Hoppy then tells Seal not to pay her any heed, but as the guards carry Goa off, she calls Seal by her nickname, reminding her of the card games and fishing she did. Seal tries to order her men to stop, but Hoppy convinces her otherwise. Meanwhile, as Toto accompanies the girls on their journey, little Goa tries to get him to remember, but he pays her no heed. Frustrated, she reminds him that he's shy and even exposes the girls to their true nature. Still, Toto can't believe her and sees her as some lost girl who has grown attached to her. Suddenly, a couple shows up, claiming she's their lost daughter, and tries taking her away. Little Goa resists them and bites Toto's hand, angry at him for breaking his promise to protect her. In that instant, the three of them realize that they are forgetting something. Toto recalls being bitten before and tries to remember where he felt it. Anemone and Seal, on the other hand, try to remember who called them by their nicknames. After pondering for a while, they remember Goa, and all their memories return. The moment everything clicks back into place, Anemone bolts inside, frantically searching for little Goa, only to be blocked by the caretakers. She demands to see her, but they coolly inform her that Goa has already been kicked out. Something about their behavior feels wildly off, and sure enough, the caretakers reveal their true colors, morphing into spirits to stop her. Anemone responds by whipping out her Glock and efficiently sending them back to the afterlife's suggestion box. Elsewhere, Seal can only watch in silence as Goa is escorted away by the guards, powerless to intervene. Hoppy and the others inform her that she's to stay there forever, but she leaps over them and declares that it's her job to fulfill her dream with her own hands. As for Toto, he stops the couple who try to take Goa away and claims she's the real Goa. She runs to him, and he tells her it was thanks to the bite that he can recall everything. Immediately, the party members and the couple all turn into spirits, vowing not to let him leave and saying he'll dream forever. Anemone quickly tears through the spirits and grabs Goa, with the plan to escape the dream. Goa orders the trip, telling them to get rid of the spirits around them and go through the golden door ahead. As they charge toward the door, Seal and Anemone learn that a part of Goa exists that doesn't want them to be trapped in the dream world. Saddened, Goa apologizes to Toto for hypnotizing them. him, hoping he doesn't hate her. To her surprise, he tells her he loves her and promises to say it as many times as she wants outside the dream world. After fighting her way through, Anemone catches her breath and blames Goa for getting them into this mess. Goa then subtly concludes that Toto must have easily taken down all the spirits in his dream. Anemone doubts her and suspects CL wouldn't have realized she'd been trapped. The doors to the physical world open, and the party convinces Goa to follow them. By dawn, Goa sadly waits for the party members to become husks, but to her surprise, CL and Anemone threaten her, revealing they woke up from the dream. As they scold her for pulling such a stunt on them, Toto wakes up and walks over to Goa. Troubled, Goa cries as she struggles to find the words to excuse herself, but he simply tells her he loves her, and as usual, he passes out in the process. Confused, she asks them what's wrong with him, but the others, who were previously raving mad at her, forgive her for the stunts she pulled. She then asks how they managed to escape the illusion, and they inform her that her younger version intervened. Realizing what had happened, Goa laughs loudly like she's gone cray-cray and acts smug. She calls the whole thing a prank, saying she intended to get them out all along. She then triggers them by asking if they woke up because they missed Toto. Annoyed, they pounce on her to defend themselves against the allegations, but to their surprise, Goa laughs and cries at the same time, causing them to pull a complete 180. She hugs them, saying she loves them and that they should keep trying to end each other. By the time Toto wakes up, he sees the girls hugging and says they care about each other. Goa sleeps while hugging them, and after a while, Toto comes back to the inn to inform her that her food is downstairs. Although they're supposed to take their C-rank promotion quest, they instead embark on another quest because they're low on cash. Suddenly, they sense a presence in the nearby bushes, and to their surprise, a large monster appears, but Toto takes it out with one punch. He looks at his hand, wondering if he's strong, since he usually defeats monsters this way, but then concludes that he's always been buffed by the girls. When they return to the guild, the receptionist asks them to take another quest before their promotion rank. She gives them details about a monster ruining a lot of harvests. Despite the reward not being high, Toto agrees to take the mission. Later that night, Toto camps outside while the girls talk about how motivated he is. They recall him telling them about how his hometown got wrecked by monsters and how he was scarred in the process. The next day, the party sees many damaged crops. After noticing how down Toto is, Goa asks Seal to help locate the monster while she distracts Toto by resting her milkers on him. He instantly passes out, giving Seal time to work. After a while, they locate a small monster eating an apple. At first, they adore how cute it is, until it instantly leaps on all of them. As CL tries to remember where she's seen such a creature, Toto attempts to catch it but ends up eating dirt. Impressed by its speed, Anemone notes that she could easily catch it but doesn't want the hero to spot her. Suddenly, the monster leaps onto her hat, and Toto crashes into her and passes out again. Annoyed, she sprays bullets everywhere, trying to hit the creature, but a blind man aims better than she. Seal and Goa also try using their powers to catch it, but the little beast humbles them all. Coincidentally, Toto wakes up just in time to see the creature heading his way. He tries to grab it, misses, and only manages to catch one of its feathers. Dejected, the party heads back to the guild. On the way, they see a ruined farm where villagers claim they've caught the wild boar responsible for the crop damage. Suddenly, the feather glows and restores the ruined crops to normal. Overjoyed, the villagers host a pumpkin feast to celebrate. During the feast, Seal tells them the monster was actually a divine beast. Confused, Goa asks why she hasn't told Toto, and Seal replies that she wants him to find out on his own. Toto arrives with their drinks, apologizing for being useless, but Seal surprises him by saying there's nothing wrong with that, and that it's the very reason he's on his way to becoming a proper hero. The others agree, and he thanks them, promising to do all he can not to faint. They decide to test his will by pressing their melons on him, but he folds faster than a napkin, so they look at each other and ask whose turn it is to assassinate him.